Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the weekly wrap-up show here on NetSN. It's your boy, Brett Swin here. Alongside of me tonight is Mr. Red Zone himself, K.O. Kahlo, and Kahlo, it feels a little empty in here.
I know. It's different with just us two being here.
I feel like maybe we should just throw the script out and just talk about AEW tonight. I haven't watched it yet, but I imagine
no, because I haven't watched it either. We could talk football. We could talk football.
Okay,
it's not a wrestling podcast tonight.
Hey, but if you like that kind of stuff, we do have some of those. So check those out. Yeah, it's how's your week going so far?
So far so good. So far so good. That's an awesome name. So far so good. It's I've enjoyed the rain. We got a little bit of rain this week, so I like that. I hope it doesn't rain Friday night. Looks like the rain's gonna move out before Friday night, so should be some good games this week. But yeah, my week's going good. How's yours?
Man, it's going great. I agree. I wish the cooler weather would come in with some of this rain, though. It's kind of warmed up this week. I got spoiled last week with the cooler weather, and I'd like to see some of that cooler weather come back. So yes. I do hope that comes back with it. We got Big Jiggly Water. Make sure you tell us who your name is if your screen name is not, because we want to give you a shout out. So what's up?
Big Jiggly Water Balloons.
I do like that. So Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Let's talk about last week. How'd you do last week, Kyle?
I think I went 7-3.
That's not bad. That's solid.
Let me look at my app where I can actually go back and look at how I did.
If you've got the updated version of the app, you can now go back, and thanks to you guys that have suggested that, we can now go back and look. You can look at how you did, and you can look at who you picked as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I went 7-3. I got the first two wrong. I got all the back end games right. It was the Mount Vernon Sabine game I missed, Atlanta Liberty Ilo game I missed, and the West Russ Tatum game. I missed those three.
This week was tough. I will say it was one of the tougher weeks. There was some really big upsets, and we'll talk about those as we talk about the games. We had 88 people pick this week that submitted their picks. So shout out to everyone who got their picks in. Our week 4 winners this week were Scott Poole and Jason Shivers. Each had 9. So no one got 10 out of 10 this week. We had 2 at 9. I had 8. I went 8 out of 10. And actually one of those, Jason, is actually leading overall. He's ahead of me. He's the only person ahead of me right now. He's got 33 and I've got 31. And so I don't know where are you at down there, Kyle? I couldn't see you. I needed some binoculars to look down and see you. Did Diggsy pass you? Is the question. I'm had a pretty good week.
I'm 21st, and me, Diggs, and Jeremy are all tied for 21st.
So we need a triple threat match between the three of you to see who's actually ahead.
I'll win that one because Diggs and Jeremy will turn on each other. So I can stay out of it. Pick up the scraps.
That's awesome. But all right, we got Chris Bates here with us as well. To change your account name. There's a support area, Chris, on the website. It's netison.live/support, and put a support ticket in about that, and we'll look in to get that fixed for you. But yeah, so pretty decent week. I was pleased with it. The ones I lost, Kyle, were the biggest upset of the week we'll talk about was Sabine Mount Vernon. There was not very many that had that one. And then I lost. What was the other one I lost? You
picked Liberty Ilo over Atlanta?
Yes, I had Atlanta. I had Atlanta, so I lost that one too. So let's see. We got Chris is talking to Eddie. Eddie's here. Yes, welcome, Eddie. You know, Eddie's always watching. Eddie, how'd you do this week? You didn't say how you did. I'm been waiting to hear from Eddie because he's kind of far down there from me right now. So him and Derek, I'm waiting for them to kind of where I can see them a little bit better. With this contest expanded, you know, they're not doing so well. I'm just curious of what's going on. I'll continue to talk as long as I stay up top. But,
I was about to say when you start losing, we don't talk as much.
Oh, Eddie was right there with you. He had 7-3. So,
that makes me feel good then. If I did as good as Eddie, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you didn't have all the stats and stuff, and you still got 7-3, Kyle. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Oh, ouch, Kyle.
What happened?
Now you said something nice to him, and now Eddie's throwing shade. He said he's on the first page, but he can't see you.
I'm like John Cena.
Let's talk about these games, Kyle. All right. Game 1, Tatum 44, West Russ 20. I had Tatum in this game. I did hear some West Russ players were out in this game, didn't play, but I was still surprised. Honestly, I thought Tatum would win. I thought it would be a little closer. Maybe that's why the game wasn't as close. You had some guys out. And West Rusk has got a big matchup this week on our week 5 games. They're also on there. But, I mean, Tatum, we know they could score points, but they did a pretty good job on West Rusk keeping them out of the end zone.
Yeah, I didn't know that West Rusk had some players out. If I would have known that ahead of time,
I didn't either. I didn't either. I found that out after the fact. So,
Tatum's had an interesting season. Obviously, they had that basketball game to begin the year at center where it was 80-63. Then lost to a very good Dangerfield team the next week, 34-17. then that Pittsburgh game got canceled. But then coming out and beating West Rusk like that, 44-20, I was a little surprised. Just because I've seen West Rusk these past few years. Obviously, they've been playing a bunch of teams that I was covering, so I was able to see a lot of West Rusk, and they were just really impressive. I think that graduation kind of hit them harder this year than they expected or maybe anticipated, and I think they're a little down from where they normally are, but Tatum's a very good football team, so I'm kind of not surprised. I picked West Rusk, but I'm not surprised at the outcome, kind of surprised at the spread, a 24-point spread, kind of surprised about that, but Tatum winning does not really surprise me.
As Corey joins us, welcome, Corey.
What's up, Corey?
Corey, we already kind of talked about how we did this week. You want to let everyone know how you did?
Oh, you know he does. The floor is yours.
Oh, he's got his paper. He's going with the Vince method. He's got it all written out.
Actually, I was looking for my picks, but I don't know.
You know where you can find those? Where? You can find those on the app, Corey.
Well, I didn't do it yet on the app. I'm so sad. I wrote them down.
For last week.
You
didn't make your picks last week.
Oh, I'm talking about for this week.
We don't need my picks for this week, Corey.
It's the wrap up show. We're talking about last week, Corey. That's what I was going to say.
Okay,
let us know how
many things there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.
Oh. 8. A new record for Corey. Corey got 8 picks. Hey, you know who didn't pick 8 right? You know who didn't pick 8 right, Corey? Eddie did not pick 8. Eddie was 7-3.
Eddie was drinking the Kool-Aid. I bet he picked Atlanta over Liberty Ilo, didn't he?
I did too.
I did as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That happens.
Corey,
that happens.
Which games did you miss, Corey?
Sabine. I was in circle that one. Nobody thought Sabine was going to beat Mount Vernon. I don't know what they're doing in Sabine, but shout out to Sabine for a great season thus far. I didn't think they would come out and beat Mount Vernon like that. And then the ARP game. That was a bust. ARP's 3-1. So shout out to the ARP Tigers. The other Maroon Tigers.
Schmeek Dog is saying you should have picked them, Corey. You should have picked them.
Hey, I picked them. I picked them before. They let me down that following week. So it's went with 10 at home, thinking they were gonna do something. And I figured it was gonna be a good game, but nonetheless.
All right, so we were just talking about the first one, Tatum and West Rusk. You had Tatum like I did in this one, Corey. Were you surprised by the amount of points that Tatum won by, though? No?
Now, Tatum always plays up in competition. So whenever they play up in competition, when they start to play the level of their competition, they probably beat them. But they have to. It takes a tough team to beat Tatum. That's how I figured. So okay. I'm not surprised how much they put up.
All right. So game 2, we had Liberty Ilo 36-14 over Atlanta. Man, if anybody's got any insight on this one, I just was really surprised. Liberty Ilo has struggled this year. Atlanta's lost 2 in a row. They're going into Brook Hill this week, and that's where I'll be Friday night with me and Vince will be on the call on that one. I'll be interested to see what Atlanta looks like in person. But guys, if this would have been 36-35 Atlanta or Liberty Ilo, like it would have been close, then I would have maybe like, okay, maybe Atlanta is just not, maybe Liberty Ilo is a bigger school. They've got more bodies. They got more athletes. But I was just very surprised. As Chris says, he doesn't think Atlanta's very good. Maybe graduation hurt them worse than expected.
Well, see, I blame Jeremy for me picking Atlanta in this game because he got me on he got me drinking the Atlanta Kool-Aid after the first couple of weeks because he was talking up Atlanta. He was like, "Oh, they're real good." Blah blah blah.
Do you think it had something to do with the schedule that he had on that Brook Hill had?
I don't know, but Atlanta came out first 2 weeks and put up 50 plus points, put up 68 on Redwater, but then they lost to New Boston and now Liberty Ilo. I don't know. I don't know what to think about Atlanta. I don't think they're as good as maybe Jeremy led me on to believe. But Liberty Alos is kind of surprised me that they beat Atlanta the way they did. Again, I'm kind of like you. I need to know what kind of happened at the game because I didn't expect the spread to be that way, especially the way that Liberty Alo came out and began the year, only scoring 14 points in 2 games.
If it had been flipped on that one, Kyle, then I might have been okay. Well, Atlanta's just good and Liberty Alo is having a bad season. I'm just surprised by the spread with Liberty Alo winning like that. That was shocking.
That's why I don't think Atlanta is as strong as we thought they were at the beginning of the season.
Corey, you had Liberty Alo. Tell us what you thought of this one. Did you see the spread?
I thought Liberty Alo was better. No,
this much better.
I just thought Liberty. I didn't think Atlanta was going to beat them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was 8-8 at the half.
It was a close game. It was a close game throughout, but it's one of those games. It's kind of like the Colorado State game. Like the spread was massive, right? Everyone thought Colorado was going to just beat Colorado State by 50 points, but Colorado State, like Lou Riddick said, they got a bunch of pros on their team. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a walk in the park like you're thinking it, but they're a rival, so you can never. What rivalry besides Lufkin and Longview, the other opponent's going to get beat by 100, right? So most rivalry games, I don't care what the record is, they're always going to be close. So they just know how to play you, and so it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Game. And by the way, on those first two, we had those first two were upsets. The Tatum West Russ, we had 37 out of the 88 picks that picked Tatum to win, which is, you think about it, that was that me and Corey stole one there on that one. I was really surprised when I went back and looked at some of these, the amounts of picks, one team versus the other. And then that Atlanta Liberty Alo game, we had 18 out of the 88 pick Liberty Alo. So both upsets in those first two picks. And Kyle mentioned it, that he got bit early, and that was one of the reasons. Now, game 3, I was watching this third one. Center Dangerfield. Vince and I were keeping an eye on this one. We had that game on here on NetSN. If you missed the game, you can go back and watch it on our YouTube channel, and also on the app. It's still up there. This game was a tale of two halves. The first half, Dangerfield was up 21-0, and we're thinking, man, what's going on with Center? And then they decided to, I don't know what was said at halftime. Coach Meeks lit a fire under them, and they came back and won 28-21. 58 out of the 88 picked Center to win. But I wasn't surprised at the closeness of this game. I'm surprised on the way the game went, where it was not just back and forth. It was a 21-0, and then the other team scored 28 unanswered. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised about how close it was, though, guys.
No, I figured the game would be close. I'd pick Center to win. Did Chase play? I don't know. Did Chase play?
He did not play. Hampton played quarterback.
Oh, wow. Okay. But when I looked at the score, when I was at the game, I had a little downtime. I looked at the score and it said 21-0 Dangerfield. I said, whoa, what is going on here? And then checked back in later and it was 21-21. And then I saw Center won. So great job by the Rough Riders of coming back. I mean, that's being down 21 to a very good Dangerfield team. Dangerfield's 2 losses, Timpson and Center. Pretty good teams to lose to there. So Dangerfield's a really good football team. When they get Chase back, hopefully he comes back soon. When they get Chase back, they'll be even better. So I don't think it's anything to worry about in Dangerfield losing these last 2 games. And if you're Center, you're riding a hot streak going into district play. So I think Center's got I think that game was everything we expected it to be, and that's what good high school football is. That's the Rough Riders roll.
I know I got the song in my head.
I know that's
play that. Now I'm aging myself. That was our 8th grade basketball song, like in the locker room. Anyway, no, I mean, it's one of those games like last year. Didn't Dangerfield beat Center last year, if I'm not mistaken? It was a weird game last year where they got beat. But no, Center's rolling.
Center beat Dangerfield last year 65-44.
Okay,
Wow.
it was one of those games where it was a big game or something. I can't remember what happened in that game, but no, at the end of the day, Center's tough. They played it. I'm not gonna discredit them. Dangerfield's one of those teams that plays up in competition. They like to compete up in classification. I know me and Brett go back and forth about it, and we talk about, they got more kids, man. And sometimes it really don't matter. If you just got it and you're in that classification, man, playing up, it does not matter to those guys.
So it might have
Matter to them.
it might have mattered in this game because if you have Chase Johnson, you're at a smaller school. One player
And
can
one
make
player, an injured player, an injured star player is a difference with anyone. I'm just talking
well,
about just classification.
not necessarily. It's a bigger deal at a lower level than it is on a team that's got more depth. Depend on who it is.
True.
But
I promise you. If you're missing a 4-star athlete on Friday, you're gonna feel it some kind of way.
Yeah.
Unless you have another 4-star athlete that's replacing that. You're gonna feel it some kind.
Look at this. So Monday night, Cleveland Browns. They lose Nick Chubb, gruesome injury, but they lose Nick Chubb, and the offense goes stagnant after that. Now, the running back that came in, I forget his name, Jerome Ford, he had some good runs, but he ain't Nick Chubb. So I get what I get both of it. Like, yes, it's next man up mentality, and at bigger schools you have a bigger pool to choose from, and at smaller schools you don't have as big of a pool. But I mean, like to Corey's point, a key player goes down. It doesn't matter if you're a 6A with a million students. Yeah, I mean,
what happened to White House week 1?
Yeah, and since they got them back, they're rolling.
Yeah. All right. The next one was our upset special of the week. 3 people picked Sabine over Mount Vernon, fellas. 3 out of 80.
Do you know the people's names? Name all 3 of those people. I want to know who they are.
I don't know. I can't. Well,
they got to be from Sabine.
Actually,
no, you don't have to. If it's security, that's fine. I understand. I
can actually look. I was just thinking I couldn't, but actually I can. Just give me a second. You guys talking. I'll look.
Here's what I was about to say. I understand by the amount of picks, it's the biggest upset. To me, that's not the biggest upset. The biggest upset in my mind this week was Liberty Ilo over Atlanta, just because I was so hyped up on Atlanta from outside sources. That's the only reason on that one. This one, I could see. I picked Mount Vernon, but it wasn't a shock for me to see Sabine beat them. Like, I'm not like, whoa, that's wild. I don't think Mount Vernon is as strong this year, and Sabine's having a great season. So shout out to Sabine. But
so yeah. I've got the 3. One of them was a member of the NetSN crew that picked
Claire. She picked because of the band.
Intern Claire. Intern Claire. So shout out to Intern Claire. Let's say special of the week. Oh, and the other 2 were Austin Craig and Rob Woodley. So shout out to you guys for getting the upset game of the week. I mean, that's one of the biggest upsets.
I didn't see that one come. I mean, Mount Vernon's got the name, man. It's like it's Mount Vernon versus, you know what I'm saying? Like that's going to precede them a lot of time. This is clearly going to be Mount Vernon. Sabine came out of nowhere, like, and then boom, the first week they put up like 65 points in week 1.
Yeah,
they blew into Spring Hill.
Yeah,
and but then the next week they lost
to they lost to West Rusk after that, which makes no sense to me because West Rusk,
right?
That's why I don't know. I don't understand the Sabine school.
Inside source here. I believe this is Derek talking to us, guys.
See?
Mount Vernon, nowhere close to what they've been.
I figured that had to be it. I figured that had to be it, man. That just, that had to be it.
I've seen Mount Vernon. Happens. I've seen Mount Vernon. They the past couple of years they were, man, like the team you did not want to see. But I don't get that feel from them this year.
Lost their gas.
Got a new head coach, sophomore QB, and running back. So you got some young talent. Now, here's the deal, and why I like Sabine. I actually picked them the week before. It wasn't the big upset, but a lot of people picked Wascom over Sabine. I don't know if you guys picked Sabine in that game or not, or you had Wascom. But something I looked at with them when I saw that they beat Spring Hill a similar fashion that Center beat Spring Hill, that told me that. You look at those games, and obviously they're different games, but they must be pretty good if they're beating on the same level that Center beat them. So, but then I saw Mount Vernon across, and I was like, Sabine's good this year, but man, Mount Vernon, they've been really good the last several years. I just couldn't see without being able to see all these teams. Obviously, we don't get to go to every game and see all these teams. We kind of see some as we go during the season, but not knowing how good Mount Vernon has been playing this year, we just have to go on what they've done so far, and so now we kind of know that, and we'll kind of have that in the back of our mind. But shout out to Sabine. 3-1 start. I mean, they got I'll spoiler alert. They got a vote in my poll this week. That was an impressive enough win. I gave them a vote in my poll this week.
Okay. I did not. Corey, did you give Sabine a vote? You probably didn't even do the poll.
I will say this. I didn't. I haven't done the poll in a minute. I've been. Anyway. We're not getting on it. I will say this. I will say this though. Shout out to Bullard. If you haven't put Bullard in your poll yet, shout out to Bullard.
Well,
they're 4-0 right now.
If you did your poll, Corey, you could put them in your poll every week.
True, but if y'all not gonna vote for them, my vote's not gonna count. So,
yeah, it always counts. They're all equally.
I'm just saying, and they're not gonna. It's not going to equate to where they actually get in.
How do you know that I didn't vote for Bullard this week, Corey?
Did you vote for Bullard?
I guess you'll find out when we go over the polls. You gotta stay tuned.
I'm going back and look to see if I even put. I put Bullard in. Yeah, I put Bullard in.
We needed that loss to get better before district, so that's that. I mean, sometimes it takes one to wake you up a little bit.
Yeah,
you never need a loss.
All right, the next game, one I picked correct, a very close one. ARP comes back from trailing Tenaha early to win 36-35. Another upset pick. Only 23 people in the poll had ARP winning this game.
I was one of them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Corey, were you one? Oh, wait, no. You didn't go with ARP.
Listen, ARP's off to a hot start, man. They've got a good football team down in ARP this season. I'm really excited.
I'm excited to get to go call an ARP game this year, Kyle. It's going to be
which one's that?
The Grand Saline game on October 6th.
Oh, the Salt City.
Yeah, up in your old territory there.
Yeah, you get my name holds some weight around Grand Saline. You throw my name around in the press box, they'll know who you're talking about.
Okay. So if I need some food or drinks or whatever when I'm in the press box,
listen.
KO works for us. I need some treatment.
Look, talk to. I'll tell you. I'm not going to throw them all out on public here. I'll get with you that week of the game. I'll tell you who to talk to.
Okay.
I'll make sure you're treated like royalty in the Salt City. Okay.
I like it. I
got you.
Eddie had ARP. Eddie's drinking the ARP water.
See, I'm high on ARP. I really think this game this week with ARP and West Rusk is gonna tell us a lot as well, because just kind of like West Rusk has that prestige these past few years of going deep and making runs. ARP's trying to get to that level, so this is going to be a big game this week. But as far as last week against Tenaha, showing some fight there, because Tenaha came in, on a 3-game winning streak. They beat Joaquin, San Augustine, and West Sabine, so they were kind of rolling coming into this game. And ARP, held home turf and was able to get the win. So I'm happy for the ARP Tigers, a net SN school that they got the big dub.
Yes, and they will be a tough one this week. Going into West Rusk. I mean, there's no doubt the rivalry there is. I mean, they don't like each other. Going in the enemy territory is going to be a tough one for her. But I mean, they get this one, then maybe they're looking at a collision course for the district championship with that other rival across the highway at 135, and that's the Troop Tigers. So, can't
wait for that game to come and see if we can get some votes on that game. It's gonna be
I believe
it's kind of live there.
I will believe that one will be a pick'em game. I can imagine.
I mean, of course, it shall be. It should.
Now we've got 2 locks of the week, as we're going to call them this week. Tyler High over North of Mesquite, 21-6. 86 out of 88 voted for Tyler High this week. So I don't know if they're listening to our show or they just are starting to get on the train too. But 86 out of 88 went with Tyler High, and they
got the rabies. Cujo. Getting it. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Cujo.
That's what's
So,
happening.
and I'm actually going to get some, hopefully, if I get my media credentials cleared, I'm going to be heading out tomorrow night and go check out Tyler High in action. They have a Thursday night game. Since I'm not going to a game, I'm going to go check them out and just see what those Tyler High Lions look like in person.
Tyler's good, man. Tyler's real good. Yeah, I figured they'd go in and beat North Mesquite. First 4-0 start since. Oh, I had the stat. Hold on. I have a stat for you.
You practicing. I see you practicing. All right, I got you.
Where is it? Oh man, hold on. Give me a second. Anyway, y'all talk. I have a stat though.
All right, Corey, tell us about Tyler High. I know you picked them.
Nothing to pick, man. They're rolling. They had to get over that mental hump. They the first week, obviously they've gotten better every single week, and that last one, this is the game. Started district play to need this win. It's easy to not say it's easy, but you want to always go 1-0 in district play, and then to go 5-0. They're not getting any respect in the state polls right now. It's okay, but it's okay. Fly on the radar a little bit. You get to that last game where Longview beat them like 71-2 or something like that. Last time they played them, I'm pretty sure that circled for those players on the radar. So,
first 4-0 start for Tyler High since 2009. That was the stat. So yeah, Tyler High off to a hot start. I'm so happy for Coach Woods and his squad over there and his coaches. And we talk about this every week, and I know if Vince goes back and watches this, he'll appreciate this, because you and Corey, you and Vince talk about this all the time. Football is better when Tyler High is good, and they are good this year, and that'll make that district real fun with Lufkin and Longview in that district as well. That we'll get to see them play each other. That Tyler Lufkin or that Tyler and Longview game, boy, that could be spicy.
We watch it all the time. We think about it all the time. The small ball in East Texas is better than anywhere else, right? Well, when I say small ball, we're 3A, 3A schools,
3A down,
4A, 4A, 3A down, pretty much. But you can remember when back, I'm just gonna say the Big 12, 5A, when it's like Longview, Lufkin, Marshall, Nacogdoches. That was the best, right? I mean, everybody had a D1 running back, a D1 quarterback, D1 defensive line. I mean, it was just beautiful. Every single district game was big except for Nacogdoches, right? and but that was it. But you had Marshall, and you had JT and Longview and Longview and Lufkin, JT and Robert. It's always good when East Texas, when Tyler schools, the heart of East Texas, are better at football every year, and they got to get back rolling again. I like it.
Well, Eddie's saying Forney's rolling, so
don't worry about Forney.
Oh, okay. You heard
don't
it.
Worry about Forney.
Don't worry about Forney.
Joe. Joe.
Okay, so Chris has a question for us. Kind of off topic, but we'll go with it since we got chat growing tonight. He's wanting us to pick how we think the order of the ARP troop district's going to turn out. I'm pretty clear that it's ARP troop and West Rusk are my top three right now. I don't know who that fourth team you've got. Was it Quitman in there? Grand Saline?
You got West Rusk, Troop, Edgewood, Grand Saline, ARP, Quitman, and Winona.
See Winona, nope, they're down at the bottom. Winona
and Quitman are not making the playoffs for sure.
It makes it interesting with ARP. They were kind of outside looking in last year, but I think with the way they're rolling right now, I think they've got a really good shot there. And we'll know after this week where they're going to line up. If they don't beat West Rusk, and most likely maybe they're looking at that third spot. Let's see.
Well, this district was crazy last year. Everybody beat everybody. Like Grand Saline beat Edgewood, but then lost to West Rusk. But Edgewood beat West Rusk, I think, or something like that. Like everybody was beating up on everybody. And so this district was really in flux last year, when going into it, you thought West Rusk was the best team. And I think they ended up district champs, but it wasn't easy. So
you covered a few of these teams in this district last year.
Yeah, I covered a lot of these games, and that's why I'm saying this district is so. It's you could have a dominant team coming into it, but they're still going to. It's still going to be a battle every week. I can see it coming down to Troop and ARP for that district title, and then I think you got Edgewood, West Rusk, and Grand Saline. One of those teams is going to be left out. Probably if you just by name value alone, Grand Saline's probably left out of that one. And then Edgewood and West Rusk kind of battling for the 3 and 4. But I think it is going to be between ARP and Troop. But it's going to be very interesting to see this district play out over time, because these teams are going to beat up on each other. I don't think anybody goes undefeated in district.
Okay. Even Troop. I think right now, just looking at them, I think Troop, they're the best team that looks the best right now. But again, making it through this slate is going to be the tough part. Can you come up with an A+ effort every night? Because if you don't, somebody can sneak up and get one. You also have the injuries that can come into play. So I think it's going to be interesting, because you've got right now the only team that's not at least a 500 mark is Winona. Everyone else is 2-2 or better. And schedules are going to be different, whatever, but at least they're all playing pretty well. So. Here's Eddie's prediction, guys. Eddie's got Troop, West Rusk, ARP, and Edgewood in. Okay.
I mean, I can see that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think any of those 4 teams, you could probably put them in any order, and I'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, sure. I think those are your 4 playoff teams for sure.
Yep.
I'll say Troop and ARP, and I'm gonna let the chips fall where they fall after that. So it's definitely Troop and ARP.
Yeah. All right. I hope that answers your question there, Chris. Thanks for the question. Okay, we've got the second lock of the week. The Game 7 pick, Kilgore 44-9 over Hallsville. Again, 86 out of 88 picked Kilgore. I'm not really surprised by this one. We've kind of discussed that, we just don't think Hallsville is as good as we thought they were at the beginning of the year. I thought they were going to be competing, and I think they may struggle to win a game in district now. They're going to be at that bottom of that, where the Nacogdoches, Pine Tree have gotten better. I think Hallsville may have dropped down a step. And so I think they're going to struggle in that district from what I've seen so far. So what do you guys think? I mean, I really wasn't surprised by this margin.
No, the game was not a surprise at all. Kilgore, very good football team. I was kind of surprised at Hallsville after their loss to Terrell to open the season. Then they beat Henderson, which at the time I thought was a good win. We kind of see now Henderson is struggling a little bit too, but then only lost by 14 to Sulphur Springs. I was like, well, Hallsville maybe put up a fight against Kilgore, but I think Kilgore's defense is they are stout this year. And they scored 44. They had a season high in points, so they broke out the offense Friday night as well. But Kilgore's really good. Not surprised about the win. And I'm with you. I think Hallsville is going to struggle in their district, and I think Kilgore will kind of roll through their district till the final week of the season.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay. All right.
It's a bad loss. Bad loss for Hallsville.
Game 8. White House with a close win, 52-49 over Henderson, a high scoring affair, over 100 points put into the score column there. We've got 80 out of 88 picked White House. So pretty much everyone thought White House would get the win. Honestly, I thought White House would win by more points here, guys. I'm surprised how Henderson fought. I don't know if it's maybe they put in some subs. I didn't see how the game ended. I saw White House up by a lot, and then it got close. So I don't know if maybe some subs. If you guys have some knowledge, Kyle, if you know about that?
I don't know anything about the game.
Were you surprised though by the closeness of it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, but Henderson. I know we just said that they've been struggling this year, Hallsville and Henderson have both been struggling, but Henderson's been in their games. I mean, they lost by 7 to Hallsville, lost by 15 to Marshall, and then lost by 3 to White House. So I mean, it's not like they're getting blown out in these games. But White House has been rolling after that first week when they got their kids back. They've been rolling ever since. So I'm not surprised that White House won, but I am surprised that it was as close as it was.
I actually watched the game, and the game was a lot closer than people think it was. It was like a 7-point game at halftime, and then White House kind of took advantage of a mistake Henderson had, but it was big plays on both parts, and they had gotten up. I think it was like 49-35, if I'm not mistaken, and then they kicked the field goal, and it was like 52-35, and of course, um, Henderson reeled off a couple of touchdowns late in the game, and they kept it going. So it wasn't really a big advantage for White House as people would look at, because they gave up a lot of big plays. Quarterback had like a 75-yard touchdown run, and he just broke through. I mean, literally broke through the defensive line and then just ran through everybody else. Had a couple big plays. Henderson's competed. And like I said before on the report show, listen, I'm not taking anything for granted. It's a confidence thing right now for Henderson. Like, they're big, but they're not extremely fast, but they're playing hard. They're competing, like I said, that barely win theory. There's some salt to that. I know you laugh at it. There's some salt to it. You start playing, you start letting the teams you're supposed to beat by 40 points hang around a little bit, and you think you're gonna play against a team that played well the following week and they may have took a loss. You're not gonna play very well. White House better buckle the chin strap up. That Nacogdoches game is not gonna go their way.
So you
let it happen.
You're giving a spoiler of your pick, and if you want to know for sure who he picked, you can just go check out the Beast from the East show.
I'm just stating facts. I don't do anything but state facts. I know I'm all funny and entertaining, but these are facts. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm just saying. I watched the White House game. They gave up some points. They should have beaten Henderson by 3 or 4 touchdowns. They were the better football team. Henderson fought. They fought back, and they had some big plays. They gave up some stuff, and that game should have been as close as it was. They didn't pull anybody out in the game. The game was competitive throughout. They shouldn't have pulled anybody out of the game. The game was competitive throughout.
Yeah, I think the longer that the season goes, Henderson gets better under Coach Baker. I think he's gonna. It sounds like from what you described in that game last year, the Henderson team probably would have given up when they were down that big. So it shows a lot that he's been able to kind of, change the culture over there. If they didn't give up, they fought back and played hard. So it's good to see. You want the teams in this area to improve, and I think that's going to be an awesome fit. Coach Baker did a great job at Carlisle. You see what Carlisle's they're struggling a little bit. So maybe Coach Baker's did a little bit more for them than you think. I mean, it could be players down, but I mean, he's doing a good job with Henderson so far. I mean, if they're staying in these games and fighting, it'll be interesting to see how they shake up in this district once district play starts here this week. But I think you got to like what you've seen from them so far.
Hey, can I make a pick on a game outside of this?
Yeah, sure.
Lone Oak plays Carlisle this week, and Lone Oak is not had a good football team the past few years. They have been struggling, but this year they've already won 2 games, which is more than they won at all. I want to say the last 2 seasons.
Oh,
my pick is that Lone Oak beats Carlisle this week. That is my upset special this week.
There you go.
My super dog, I guess, is what they call it on College Game Day. Is my super dog, Lone Oak over Carlisle.
All right.
We got to figure out what to call it now. Now I want to call it, not the upset, but I don't know. We got to call it something. We got to call it something now.
Game 9, guys. If you didn't get to watch the end of Game 9, you need to go back and watch the last. I don't know. The whole game was good, but the last 2 minutes. I actually talked to a coach after our broadcast, and he's like, "Did you see the end of the Gilmer-Lindo game?" I was like, "Well, I saw the last 3 seconds. That's when I got home and turned it on. It was what was on." No, go back and watch it. This game was nobody wanted to win this game. It was just give the ball. I mean, it was touchdown. I mean, it was an insane finish. But Gilmer held on and outlasted Lindale 59-56. 74 people picked Gilmer to win this game. And and Eddie's saying Lindale should have won this game. Did you guys get to go back and watch any of that game tape?
No, I didn't, but I had heard about it, but I didn't go back and watch it. But I knew how it ended, and it didn't surprise me. I figured that game would be close. Neither one of these, and I figured it'd be high scoring because neither one of these defenses could stop anybody. Yes, Jake. Yes, exactly.
I don't think they ever come to the game.
No, the defense is not good, but yeah, it was a really good game though. It's kind of what I expected out of it. It's a shame Lindale lost that one, but when you go back and look at both these teams' losses, I mean, Lindale's lost to Pine Tree, who we all believe is an up-and-coming team that's going to have a very good year. Lost to Van. We know how good Van is.
Don't believe. Ray don't believe.
Who? Oh, come on now, Corey. I gave you credit last time, and now you're still giving me a hard time. I don't believe that they're the number one team in the state. I think they're improved, and I think they're going to compete for a playoff spot. I told you this. Come on, Corey. I gave you
my bad, Kyle.
Anyway, but in this game, Lindale, Clint Thurman, the quarterback, he carried the ball 38 times as a quarterback for 257 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also passed for 169 yards and a touchdown. And their running back, Wyatt Parker, carried 17 times for 102 yards and 3 touchdowns. Then on the other side for Gilmer, the Caden Tennyson was 19 of 38 passing for 405 yards, 4 touchdowns. Will Henderson rushed for 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also caught 5 passes for
that man is
73.
Fast.
Yes,
man, he is
and a touchdown. Noble had 4 catches for 121 and a tud. And Tate had 9 catches for 186 and 2 tutties. I mean, the offense was all over the place. But yes.
So, Kyle, you were at that first game, the Gilmer Chapel Hill game.
Yes.
And saw Tennyson's performance.
Yes.
How many passing yards do you think he had in that game? Did he even have 100?
I don't think so. I don't think they even threw the ball more than like 7 or 8 times.
Now, well, they did, but they weren't really. I mean, it wasn't like they were lighting the world on fire. Yes, the Henderson kid.
The run game was, the run outstanding.
But like when they needed to throw the ball, couldn't.
Mm-mm. No, but that goes back to my point. Lindale's defense, for my time, when I was in school, we had a strong front 7. Our front 7 was strong. It's always been the secondary. For some reason in Lindale, it's always the secondary that seems to be letting the defense down.
Yeah.
So, and you can attribute some of that maybe to the front 7 as well. Maybe they're not getting enough pressure, so secondary's having to cover for 2. I mean, you can. It's a team effort, but it just seems like secondary struggles.
So to me though, and we've talked about the suspect Chapel Hill defense. Maybe the defense is better than we think. It's just Gilmer's offense is really good.
I mean, but you gave up 42 to Van. You gave up 46 to Kaufman. You gave up 42 to Pine Tree. You've given up 40 points every game.
No, I'm not talking about Linda. I'm talking about comparing now that we see Gilmer play other teams. Maybe Chapel Hill's defense is not as suspect because they pulled the starters on the last couple of scores in the Gilmer game.
Yeah,
so there was a couple of gimme touchdowns. Same thing this week. There was that happening then. So I wonder, I mean, maybe Gilmer's offense is just that good and Chapel Hill's defense isn't as weak. Now, I don't think it's their strong point, but I think this kind of shows that if Tennyson was able to throw for 400-something yards against Lindale, then maybe Chapel Hill's secondary, maybe the secondary is pretty good because he wasn't able to throw for at all, really. I mean, and you say they ran it a lot, which they did, but when they needed to extend drives and complete passes, they really didn't.
No, I don't know his stats for that game, but it wasn't. It
wasn't
Eddie,
good.
I just said Tennyson had 405.
Yep.
Anyway,
hello.
But yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Chapel Hill, and we can attribute that first week. I mean, it's the first game of the season. It was 180 degrees on the field. like the defense was exhausted, and both those teams were running back and forth. So I think because that first week we also saw that center game in Tatum 80-63.
Yeah,
like I think that first week kind of skews the numbers a little bit, and I think teams are kind of coming back down to earth. But Gilmer's offense is real. Gilmer's offense is legit. That'll be interesting to see what they do against Pleasant Grove, who we know has a really strong defense. We know Pleasant Grove's defense is really strong.
We know then Kilgore Chapel Hill game will be interesting because it's kind of the same thing. You'll have the defensive strength versus the offensive strength. Whose counterpart is going to be the factor. So can Pleasant Grove's offense and Gilmer's defense, which one's better?
I always lean defense. I think a good defense can stymie a good offense. And just me personally, I lean towards the defense.
Here you go. Here's a good one for you, Kyle. Jake.
Hey, Jake, if you're throwing for 400, I'll catch them for you since I played receiver. So I can get 400 yards receiving against.
Hands Owens.
Listen, that's two. And for perspective, that's two Lindell guys talking about Lindell like that. Like this is not like Chapel Hill people saying it. Like this is people from Lindell that are seeing this every week that are like, look, man, it's tough.
I think Eddie's feeling good about his chances, I think, against Gilmer this year. And I would be feeling good too.
Absolutely.
PG will out there, man. PG will win. Chapel Hill's defense isn't that stout. They've made stops in which and this is the part where I look at it too. If you can give up rushing yards, that's cool. You gotta think about this. And Kyle, you've seen them play. Man, 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they're playing subs. You know what I'm saying? So late in the ball game, other teams are scoring, they scoring points. It's whatever at this point. They have a tendency to give up a big play here and there. Tip pass or whatever happens, but you're still letting the opponent score. Nacogdoches successfully drove the football down the field and they scored. And they put together some pretty decent drives.
Well, you have to remember
Gilmer did the same thing.
Chapel Hill was about to put that game without the block field goal there. That kind of changed the whole. Like Chapel Hill was about to put that one.
Block field goal did it. I'm not going to say that their defense is absolutely perfect because, like I said before, I'm still looking for them to pitch a shutout. Hey, if your defense is good and it's supposed to be, you don't give up 30 points a game. You give up 15, you give up 10. So your defense isn't that great. So you're giving up points. So that's not a. But if you're outscoring your opponents and you're making stops, that's something totally different. You know what I'm saying? If you're able to make stops down the stretch or prevent people from scoring for at least 3 quarters, and you sub your guys out in the fourth quarter, you win a game. That's fine as well. But you got to at least make stops some kind of way eventually. But if you're just looking at numbers, no, Chapel's defense in the world.
And also you got to remember too, when you got Risbon and Stewart having one play 70-yard drives, and your defense gets absolutely no bread. Your defense? Yeah, then your defense has to go right back out there. That affects it too.
Well, but the other thing to that as well. The defense for Chapel Hill, they're opportunistic. Like they get stops when they need to. And the thing about Chapel Hill, the defense doesn't have to be great because the offense is so good. Like, yes, you need to get stops. You can't give up 50 points a game. But when you have an offense that's capable of putting up 40 plus at the drop of a hat when they step off the bus, like your defense, that takes pressure off your defense. You're like, okay, we give up a play or two here or there. We're okay. We know we got Brisbane and Stewart and them boys on the other side that are going to take care of us. So I think Chapel Hill doesn't need to have a shutdown defense. They don't need to be like a Pleasant Grove or a Garrison or one of these teams that are, shutting down teams. You don't have to. It would be nice, absolutely, but they don't need to. Whereas other teams that don't have as great offenses do need that shut down.
I will say this, we can move on. The thing that happened last year, and we all attested this as well, Risman couldn't throw the football as well. And he was still learning how to be a quarterback. This year, they've got it together where they've opened up the playbook just a little bit. I'm not saying he's a horrible quarterback, but I'm saying right now he's at least throwing the football a little bit more. In the past, that was one of the differences. So I'm just saying.
My saying is defense wins championships, and it does. Yes. But my point for this conversation is you don't have to you don't have to shut out every opponent. If you have an offense as good as Chapel Hill, you don't have to shut them out. But yes, defense still needs to make a stop. You're not going to outscore everybody. You still have to get a stop eventually.
Well, wins games, defense wins championships.
Yeah,
exactly. Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships.
So for game 10, guys, we'll let Kyle tell us about this one as he was there as Longview put a shallywhacking beat down on rival Lufkin 42-0. Mr. Red Zone, Longview impressive, right?
They're good, man. They're what did Preacher Man say in Friday Night Lights? They're big, they're fast, and they big.
They're big. He said it already.
They're good though, man. They are. First off, shout out to Longview. First time Coach King allowed us access in the locker room pregame, so I got to go into the locker room. I'm going to go out and say it, probably the nicest locker room in East Texas. Trent Williams. It's the Trent Williams locker room. So, I mean, we're talking wooden lockers with it was with name tags. Like it was sharp. But and then coming out of the tunnel from an actual tunnel from the side of the field, the whole atmosphere at Lobo Stadium was just fantastic. But Keedron Young, the running back for Lufkin, he's going to Notre Dame next year. He's a big boy. He is a big boy at running back. And then Taylor Tatum for Longview, he's going to OU to play football and baseball next year for the Sooners. So multi-sport athlete. But both running backs coming into this game, I was excited to watch both of them. Both of them ran hard. One of them had a better game than the other, and that was Taylor Tatum. He had a couple of tuds, and Andrew Tutt, also the quarterback for Longview, he took one around the right side. He also had a touchdown pass where I was at the right spot at the right time. Gentleman caught it, and right in front of the band, he looked back at the camera and blew a kiss to everybody in the red zone land. So perfect spot there. But it was 28-0 at halftime. Longview's defense, they didn't give Lufkin any room to breathe. I mean, I think Lufkin had one play where they had like an 80-yard screen for a touchdown, but it got called back.
I saw that play.
Other than that, I don't think, and I could be wrong because I didn't watch any of the third quarter. I was up there editing video, but I don't think they had a play over 20 yards, Lufkin. I don't think they did. Just it's tough sledding against that Longview defense. I think Longview, after that first week when they lost to McKinney, you've seen their defense only give up 14 points in the next 3 games. So they got a couple of tough road games, though, coming up this week against Lancaster and then next week against Forney, in 2 weeks after that, and in October against Forney. So we're going to see what Longview's made of. It's a tough district that they're in, but Longview's a really good football team. Lufkin is still a good football team. I think they have a chance in the district to make the playoffs, maybe as a 4 seed. I wouldn't count them out just yet, but Longview, man, they're rolling. They're a very good team.
No surprise me about this before Corey tells us what he's going to say. Is only 69 people picked this game for Longview. I was surprised that this wasn't more lopsided toward Longview. I don't know if it had to do with Lufkin.
I think Lufkin's record skewed everything. Yeah,
I don't know, but that just to me was confusing. All right, Corey, tell us about Longview.
I don't have anything to add, honestly. 69. I mean, you get drawn like that, you got nothing to add. Game's over.
That's the 0 that you're looking for, right? The defense.
Mm-hmm. That's how you know you've dominated the game. I don't care if it's third string or not. I'm not giving up a point. That's my mentality.
Yeah, and in the fourth quarter, both teams had backups playing. So no, I don't think any starters played the whole fourth quarter, because it was 42-0 going into the fourth quarter, which was great because the game ended before 10 o'clock. So I love that.
Absolutely. As someone that has to pack up a lot of gear and all that, I understand totally. All right. So
the officials are running the clock.
Yeah. Would like to also give a shout to one of our Nedison schools as Brook Hill picked up the win in White Oak Friday night. So shout out to Coach Hubbard and the Brook Hill guard. Again, we'll talk about that game that we have Friday towards the end of the show here. But let's go to our polls now, guys. The 6A, 5A poll for this week, a little bit of changing around, but still our same 5 that we've had in. Lufkin now is sitting at 5, White House at 4, Texas High at 3, Tyler High at 2, Longview 1. Thoughts on that?
Well, I took Lufkin out of my poll, and Corey, this one's for you. I slid Pine Tree into 5th spot in the poll. I took Lufkin out, slid Pine Tree in, and then the top 4 are the same ones I picked in that order. But yeah, I slid Pine Tree in there. So I'm a believer in the Pirates right now. I'm drinking the juice Corey's pouring me.
Well, if Corey would vote, he'd probably have them too, and they might have been in the poll.
I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna set this whole thing on fire.
Oh, here we
Pine
go.
Tree makes the playoffs. Pine Tree makes the playoffs. Tyler High wins district.
Whoa. Tyler High's beating Longview?
Ooh,
Tyler High's beating Longview.
Okay. Right.
I mean,
you heard it first. 9:32, September 20th. Niece's birthday tomorrow.
I can see Pine Tree making the playoffs.
All right,
Eddie. I know you can't see it. I know everybody can't see it, but
Eddie,
it's fine.
I got to answer Eddie real quick for Jeremy, because I talked to him. So the JV allowed 2 touchdowns, Eddie. So just so you know that. And he also said they will not beat Longview. That's for Corey.
Hey, second.
Hey, I don't know who Eddie talked to.
For what Tyler, where Tyler come from for the past couple of years,
if they
second place in district is not bad.
If they finish second place, I think you consider that a good season. I mean, it's as highly ranked as Longview was coming into the season.
District. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this: if they go into that last game undefeated, and both teams, if Tyler High goes to that last game undefeated, and they listen, I'm telling you right now, I don't think and it's in Longview too. Whew. Whew. Hey, I may just have to go to that game. I don't know.
I may be at that game myself.
Right. I'm gonna have to find a way to do that.
So the Longview that will not be the last game of the season. Tyler High's last game of the season is against Forney at home. That could be another big one. Forney's also up there at the top, but they'll play in Longview. That is October the 27th.
Okay.
So star that one on your calendar there, Corey. But those last two, they legitimately they have a chance to come into those last 3 games undefeated. You have Lufkin, Longview, Forney to finish the season for Tyler High. That's 3 big ones. They're at home against Lufkin. They go to Longview, at home against Forney. Now, let's not discount. You still have Lancaster there. Do we know what Lancaster is? We thought they were going to be up there with Longview, and they haven't shown. They've
had a rough stretch. I don't know what's going on in Lancaster, but they've had a little tough go of it. They've played some tough teams though. South Oak Cliff, Denton Guyer, and then they lost to McKinney North last week, which was kind of a surprise. But I mean, South Oak Cliff and Denton Guyer and they lost by 21 to Oak Cliff and lost by 8 to Denton Guyer. So it's not going to be easy for Longview, and I expect Longview to win, but it's not going to be easy.
Kyle, I'll let you answer this one because I believe that Eddie's wrong.
Yeah, I had. Matter of fact, I'll tell you exactly where I ranked them in my poll. Let me go back and look at it real quick so I can just tell you, Eddie. I had Texas High 3rd. Votes. So Texas High 3rd was mine.
That's where I had them. I had them at 3rd as well.
So yes, I do vote for them, and you can't say, "Well, Corey vote for them," because Corey don't do the polls.
Exactly. I wouldn't be voting for him anyway.
Oh wow!
Dang.
See, so Eddie, I'm trying to kick up dust today.
So Eddie,
I'm kicking up dust today.
You need to DM Corey directly and give him a hard time. Me and Kyle, we're 3rd. I don't think you can argue where that they're picked as long as Tyler High and Longview are there. I mean, I don't at this point.
Eddie, to listen, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if your son put ink to paper yet, but Texas is still available. If he had any off from Texas, I saw Oklahoma State get beat pretty bad this past weekend.
Who they play?
Still plenty of time
South
to change
Alabama.
That. They played the Jaguar from South Alabama, SBC school, and South Alabama took a $300,000 check and came to Stillwater and ran off. And I bet you they got some good barbecue on the way back home too. I know they did.
He's smiling at you. You got to smile at Eddie on that one.
Texas is still open. Baby.
I think that's a pretty good poll, honestly, guys. We're all pretty consistent. Everyone had Longview 1. Everybody had Tyler High 2. The difference was Brandon, Kyle, and myself had Texas High at 3. Jeremy had Hubbard at 3. Not Hubbard, Lufkin at 3. Maybe I'll get it right here in a minute. And then we had White House. Brandon had Lufkin at 4, and Jeremy, Kyle, and myself. Actually, I think Kyle, we had almost the exact same poll, except for the fifth spot. I had Lufkin at 5, and you had Pine Tree. So, I mean, we're all pretty. We're all pretty close on this one. It's right now. We've kind of got the 5 teams we're looking at, and we'll see if anything changes. Of course, we'll have Longview and Lufkin and John Tyler or Tyler High. Excuse me, as they all play each other. It'll kind of play out there. Honestly, I think Texas High. I don't see. Since they almost lost, I know this is Kyle's thing. They almost lost to Legacy, which we think is not very good. That doesn't give me good vibes about Texas High season.
And from what I understand, Legacy was up 14-0 in that game. Same way that that's the thing about Legacy. Legacy's been up. I will venture to say in almost every game they've played this year, they've been up and just can't hold on to the lead. So I don't know. I hope Coach Trahan and the Legacy Raiders can get a win, but that's tough. It's real tough.
All right, so let's look at 4A. We're going to start from the bottom. Athens comes in at number 10. Bullard at 9. Brownsboro at 8. We have a tie at 6. Gilmer and Van are tied at 6 there. Center at 5. Kilgore 4. Pleasant Grove 3. Carthage 2. Chapel Hill 1. Not much change in the kind of the top 6 or 7 there. Brownsboro and Bullard move up a spot. Athens moves into the poll. What do you guys think about this?
I didn't vote Athens in, but I did vote for Bullard and Brownsboro both. I'm going to get to see Brownsboro this week. I'm excited to see them. They're off to a 4-0 start. Same thing with Bullard. I can't. The only disagreement I have with the poll is Carthage won state, and I think that they deserve the number 1 spot until somebody takes it from them. That's why I vote Carthage number 1 every week.
I disagree with that.
Until they lose or until they prove that they're not the best team in 4A, then I'm not going to take them off that top spot. That's just me personally. I completely understand why Chapel Hill would be number 1. I get it, but just in my mind,
so
if
they lined up and played right now, who would you pick? Right now, not 10 weeks from now when Carthage has gotten there. Like if you line them up right now, who would you pick?
I won't say. If they played,
I'd probably pick Chapel Hill.
If they played, I'd probably game.
I know, but I think honestly, just from this year's group, Carthage graduated quite a bit. Chapel Hill brought a lot back. From where they're lined up right now is with Surratt at quarterback. He's young. He's made some errors earlier. From what they have right now, I would take Chapel Hill. I'm a Chapel Hill guy, but I would tell you if I could Carthage, and next year I might take Carthage.
I would take Chapel Hill in the game, but I'm still going to rank Carthage number 1 right now because of their success. Like that's just like Georgia. Like Georgia is going to came in ranked number 1 because they were the national champion. Now it doesn't always happen that way, but they were the national champion in my mind. Until somebody beats the champ, they're number 1. So now if Carthage would have lost that week 1 to Kilgore, they're dropping down. They're not number 1.
They basically lost. Remember we talked.
Anyway,
I'm just giving our time. No, I agree with that. I just was curious. Because we had of the 4 of us that voted, everyone else had Chapel Hill at 1. It's probably because of just what everyone's seen so far.
Yeah, I get that
to affect last year. And everybody votes differently, so that's why that's why we have a poll. If we all voted the same, it'd be boring.
It's true. Very much would be.
I'm gonna say something really crazy right now.
Oh gosh,
Bullard's going. Was it Carthage going to Bullard or Bullard going to Carthage?
Say what you're about to say. Don't say what you're
I'm
about
not
to
saying
say.
anything crazy. I'm gonna say that. Listen, I'm telling y'all right now.
It's in Bullard.
That game is close. If that game is close, I'm just saying.
You really think that game's gonna be close?
I don't think so, but listen.
And what's
Hey,
close?
I don't know, man.
What's close? Let's define that.
21 to 28, 21-17. Bullard's defense has been playing well.
So 10
Bullard's
and under
defense has been playing well.
10 and below is close.
Okay. Let me just tell you who Bullard's played, Corey. Maybank.
Okay.
Caddo Mills, Quinlan Ford, and Mineola. Who on that list is as good as anybody in their district except maybe Canton, which is not normally very good. But I think Carthage is better than any of those teams. I think Brownsboro is better right now than any of those teams. I think Rusk is better than any of those teams. I think Center's better than any of those teams. And I think Van's better than any of those teams. That's my problem with Bullard. I did rank them, but they haven't played anybody yet.
I don't care about who they played. I care about the actual team. This is what you got to understand. Eventually, if your team has enough confidence, your team is playing with confidence, anything can happen to the team. I don't think Tyler High is as good as their record is 4-0. They've beaten some good teams. Okay, I got you. Are they at their peak yet? No, they're not. They just have a lot of momentum right now. That's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of things going. Bullet has a lot of momentum right now. You have no idea what that goes for you. If they continue to win games, that means a lot for that team. That's what I'm saying. Confidence is huge. That's all I'm saying. They may not play the schedule that they've played, that Carthage has played, but eventually it's a win for Bullard if they come out of that game 28 to 20, 28-21. That's a mental win for Bullard.
So Corey, the combined wins for the teams they played is 4.
Yeah.
So that's why I did vote for Bullard. Again, I put Bullard in my poll at number 8. At number 8.
I'm not saying they're gonna beat Carthage.
But I don't.
I'm just saying
they just haven't played. I don't know what they are yet. Like until they play somebody that out in their district that's going to challenge them, I need to see what they really are.
Well, and here's the
thing: what they are. They're a playoff team. They're just not to the same level of Carthage.
No,
and Center. That's all I'm saying.
I think they might make the playoffs. It's going to be a battle for the playoffs.
No, I don't think Bullard's in.
If Bullard beats Rusk, they're in. Because I think Bullard beats Canton, and I think Bullard, if they can beat Rusk, I think they're in.
Rusk, you got Van Center and Carthage are pretty much locks, I would think.
Well, we'll see this Friday night.
With what they have, they should.
Because Van and Brownsboro play Friday night. So we'll see Friday night. That'll kind of take those two teams. But my thing with Carthage and Bullard, for Bullard, this is a huge game. They're 4-0. Carthage is coming to town. They're the defending state champions, all the prestige that Carthage has. This is a huge game for Bullard. For Carthage, this is another Friday night. It's a business trip.
They may tear the goalpost down if they win this game, Kyle.
Well, but that's my point. Are they ready for this moment? Are they ready to take down the big dog? Are they to that level?
This is a program-defining game. This is a program-defining.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a lot of pressure.
That's what I'm saying. Now, can Bullard live up to that pressure? Because Carthage has dealt with this pressure for the last 10, 15 years. So can Bullard?
No pressure for them.
Yeah, exactly. Can Bullard? Well, and really, Bullard's playing with house money because nobody expects them to win this game anyway. So they're playing loose. We may see a couple of trick plays from Bullard. I think the pressure is actually on Carthage, but can Bullard live up to that moment and kind of break Carthage and get by them? I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
You may be right. I think I'm with you though, Corey. I don't think it'll be definition of close, but I'm thinking maybe I think maybe a 2-touchdown game, 2 touchdowns.
But I'm interested. Like I said, I'm interested though.
It's gonna be a good one. I think.
Hey, it's something to kind of side eye a little bit. Like, okay,
I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it.
Right. If it's 14-10 in the fourth quarter, Carthage, everybody's like, what's going on? That's all I'm saying.
But if it's like 35-0 at halftime, Carthage, then we're gonna be like,
it's like,
okay.
No,
they are who we thought they were.
So I had Palestine at my 10 spot. They were one that didn't make it into my poll. I think they're playing well right now. Corey's been high on them. He would have probably given them a vote too. I think. What's that? I gave him a vote. I think they're playing well right now. I had Palestine at 10. I had Brownsboro at 9, and let's see, think I had who did I have at 8? I had Bullard at 8. So I didn't have Athens in my poll. They were probably my next team for me, just because they lost to Brownsboro. I don't know how good Brownsboro is. That's their one loss. It was by 1 point. I think it was the very first week of the season. So they're right there together. I think, Brownsboro and Athens are there together to me. Brownsboro's in my poll because they beat Athens. Athens will know who they are once district starts. So, Kyle, you had a couple of different ones down here. You had Sulphur Springs in your poll. Tell us why you had them in.
I think they're a decent team. I was just kind of running out of teams to add in there, and I knew I had Sulphur in for the week before, and then they went out and beat Van Alstyne at home 31-28. So I just decided to give them some love and keep them in the poll. I don't think they're I don't think they're a top tier team. Yeah, I don't think they're a top tier team. I don't think they'll be in the top 10 in my poll for very much longer, but for right now, they're in there.
Corey, of any of those, is there anybody that wasn't in the poll that you would have liked to see in there since you didn't vote?
You have to keep throwing out I didn't vote. You got to be disrespectful.
Well, no, but I would have asked you how you voted, but since you didn't,
it's the Disrespect Sports Network, baby.
Who would you have liked to seen in the poll that's not in there? Maybe that
in class 4A.
Yeah,
in class 4A. Yeah, I think you probably hit. I don't think you put Paris in there. Yeah.
No, they've been. I mean, they were impressive to me. They played Gilbert tough. I was impressed by that loss. I know Kyle doesn't like that impressed by the loss, but that was an impressive loss. I was expecting Gilmore to run all over them.
Why would we put Paris in the poll? They're 1-3.
I thought they were 3-1. That's okay.
They lost to Van, they lost to Gilmer, and they lost to Salina. 3 good teams. I get it.
That's a tough
exactly. Well, look at Brock. I mean, Brock is all the way in the top 5, and anyway. They get a lot of love too.
Eddie's got Rusk at 11. I like that. I think Russ is playing some good ball. They beat Alvarado this week. Impressive win. They weren't expected to win that one, I don't think so.
A lot of people don't know about that little rivalry, but that's
the sitting in Alvarado. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That's an
interesting one. Yeah, but I think Rusk is.
I think our poll's pretty solid. I think we've kind of settled in on our top 6 or 7. We'll see how they shake up as district goes because we'll have some that'll play each other, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go on down to 3A. This one's always
interesting. Poll.
This one's always interesting for me. Like there's so many good teams. But here's how it shook out for this week. We had a tie for 9th. Harmony and a new entry into the poll. The ARP Tigers enter the poll in at tied for 9 with Harmony. Beckville's in at 8. Hooks at 7. Garrison 6. Troop 5. Dangerfield 4. Winsboro 3. Malakoff 2. And Timpson 1. Thoughts on that, Kyle?
I got basically all those same teams in my top 10. They're just not in that same order, but they're basically all in that same top 10. I only dropped Dangerfield 1 spot in my poll, and that's because they lost to a top 5 team in 4A, and that was without their starting quarterback, and they were up 21-0 at one point. So I only dropped them one spot in my poll. I had Winsboro at 4 and Beckville at 5, rounding out my top 5 with Timpson and Malakoff 1 and 2. After 5, really after 4, in my opinion, it's kind of a toss-up. Kind of with whoever you want to put in there. I added Jefferson into the poll this week. I kind of like what they got going on in Jefferson. They seem to have some big kids out there.
Jeremy also voted for Jefferson.
See, and they're 2-1. Their game against DeKalb got canceled. Their only loss this year is to Timpson, 48-29. Played Timpson pretty close. So I put Jefferson in there, but yeah, that's my I can't disagree with the poll. I think from 5 down, you can kind of mix and match whoever you want to put in there.
Yeah, I had ARP at 10. and I had let's see, Beckville at 9, Sabine at 8 for me. I told y'all earlier I like Sabine and what they've done so far, so I gave them a little love there at 8. At 7, I had Garrison. 6, I had Hooks. 5, I had Dangerfield. 4, Winsboro. 3, I had no, I had I'm sorry, Dangerfield at 5, Troop at 4, Winsboro 3, Malakoff and Timpson. Everyone had Malakoff and Timpson 1, 2. I think they were the consensus right now, top 2. But there was a lot of teams that got votes down here. We had Palestine Westwood got a vote, New Diana. Of course, you talked about Jefferson, Grace with a vote. There's a lot of good teams down at the bottom. Kyle, and I have to do this. I have to do this to you, okay? Just for Eddie, where did you put Hooks in your poll this week?
I think I forgot him.
You got to say receiving votes. Still receiving votes. That's what you got to say.
They're on the outside.
Yeah, they're still receiving votes.
Okay, so he said Hooks should be 4 at worst.
You just fired him up. Now I'm not going to hear the end of it. So thanks, Brett. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. He said he was hitting you up on your DMs this week.
I know.
I think Eddie, your best chance of getting a Hooks vote out of Mr. Owens is to maybe leave his DMs silent for a little bit. Honestly, I mean, like you said, any of these teams could have been shifted around. I think the very top is pretty top heavy. Corey, of the ones that actually made the poll, is there anybody that you think should have been in there that wasn't in their top 10?
Palestine Westwood they be getting a lot of buzz out there, man. Shout out to Palestine Westwood.
Westwood's playing,
I think
good.
They're playing some ball right now, baby. Yeah. They're like one of those schools. Is like you don't know. I know it's on the outside. They're still in Palestine, but they're the forgotten Palestine school. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's only one school in Palestine. No, what about us? It's like they're the forgotten Palestine school. But shout out to Westwood, though. Give them that respect. And I also heard there was a rumor that Adrian Peterson was at Westwood. He transferred to Palestine.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I think he ran out of eligibility.
I'm just saying like he actually was at Westwood.
But he ended up going to Palestine. Listen, Westwood in the last 5 seasons, they haven't had over more than 5 wins in a season, and that was last year. They already got 4. They're 4-0. They're the only team in their district with a 4-0 record going into district play. The next best team is Cold Spring Oakhurst at 3-1, and then a couple Shepherd and Woodville are 2-2, along with Diboll, who they got coming up next week. So, or in 2 weeks. So, I mean, look, Westwood. I keep an eye on Westwood. I think they have a really good chance at winning that district and making some noise. So I keep an eye on Westwood for sure.
If you have a team that continues to win like Westwood, they'll climb the polls because these teams are going to start beating each other. So they continue to win. I think they're going to receive more and more votes and move up the poll there. That's anybody else, any other games this week? What's the game that you're looking forward to seeing this week, you guys? I know you're going to be at a couple, Kyle, but what game is it? Maybe not be it. It may not have to be a game that you're going to, just one that you're looking forward to seeing.
Trying to think. I'm interested in the Lindell Henderson game, just because that's we know how tough that district is, and you need to get off to a hot start in that district if you want to have a chance, because there's some tough teams in there. We talked about Kilgore. We talked about Chapel Hill. Athens off to a hot start. Don't know how for real they are yet. Henderson's a sneaky good team. I don't think it's going to be an easy game this week for Lindell. So
don't forget about Palestine as well. They're playing
Palestine. Yeah. So, I mean, it's important to get off to a hot start. So I'm interested to see that game. I'm also interested in the Lone Oak Carlisle game because I want to see what the Buffaloes are made of. They lost to Grace Community, but Grace, puts up a ton of points anyway. So I'm excited to see what Lone Oak can do against Carlisle too.
Eddie says he's interested in the Tyler High and McKinney North matchup. That'll be a Thursday night game. I'm going to try to head out to that one and check that one out in person. He's saying
you said Professor was going to be there. Isn't he at Grand Slam in New York right now?
he is. He's going to fly back in and he's going to be at the game tomorrow night. That's the Professor, man. The Professor, he must have a jillion airline miles because he's always all over.
Is he flying into Tyler or flying into Dallas?
I think he's flying back.
He definitely ain't flying into Tyler.
I think he's flying back in the middle of the night tonight. I think. I know exactly.
Man.
So I'm trying to catch up with him.
I mean, respect, right? Like, man, respect.
Old Netison Brandon. We're gonna try to
Yes, Brandon.
Corey, what about you? What game are you looking forward to seeing this week?
Honestly, I'm anxious to see this Willa Carthage game, to be honest with you. The more I think about it, I'm like, man, that game. But I don't know. I'm gonna be tuned in to quite a few, man. You got Palestine versus Kilgore. You already know how I picked that game. That's a trap game for Kilgore. Yeah, I'm anxious to see how it goes, man. This gonna be a good week of football. District started everything, so we'll see.
I'm gonna do a couple, but first one I'm gonna plug is the game I'm gonna be at. I'm gonna be at in Brook Hill, and Harrington Stadium, covering the Brook Hill Atlanta game. Me and Vince are gonna be there, and I'm interested to see that game because I think Brook Hill has played a really tough pre-district schedule. They've got district coming up, and Atlanta is going to cause some speed issues with them. They're going to be fast, and I'm interested to see how Brook Hill adjusts to that. They're getting some guys back, and so it'll kind of see how they're going to fare coming into district play. So, I'm kind of excited to see Atlanta, just to see another team in our area, to see what they look like in person, getting to see them. They've struggled a little bit the last couple weeks, but I want to see kind of what they pose a threat on offense and defense, just to get a better understanding. And my next game, to me, guys, it's got to be that Art West Russ game. I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to be an excellent game. I'd love to be at this game if I wasn't at another game. This unfortunately wasn't one of the ones we had the choice of picking that we're doing for Art, but man, this one is going to be a game. I mean, this is going to define. I know it's game one of district, but this is going to put these two teams on different pathways. The winner of this game is going to be in the driver's seat probably for that battle with Troop, and the other one's going to be trying to hang on to that third spot with all those other teams below. So, I mean, this game could decide where they're going to go in the seeding.
And that, just like we talked about with the other district, with the Westwood district and the Lindale district, how it's important to get off to a hot start. That's a big game. ARP and West Rusk, we both think those are two playoff teams. You don't want to start behind the 8-ball at 0-1, so it's important to get off to that 1-0 start and have a little bit of cushion as you go into the second week of district.
And talking about district, if everyone hasn't figured it out, we do have an app, Netison app. The user count grows every week, so continue to share it. It's got all the scores, and it has district standings, and those things will come in handy now as we move into district season. So you'll be able to look and see where your team stands, where the other teams fall as the game's in. The standings will automatically update. So if you're looking to see where your team is looking like, how they're going to do and where they're faring, make sure you go check out the app. Kyle, where are you going to be at this week?
I'm going to be in Brownsboro for the district opener between the Brownsboro Bears, the 4-0 Brownsboro Bears, and the 3-1 Van Vandals. I'm excited for this one, man. Brownsboro's what's up?
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Brownsboro's won 2 games this season by 1 point. Athens and last week against Spring Hill in overtime. They've also beaten Maybank and Fairfield. So they're 4-0, but I don't know how good that 4-0 is. You got to give them credit for winning those games. I mean, they're going to overtime. They're winning those games. You got to give them credit for that. But Van, they beat Pine Tree, Lindale, and Paris, and then lost to Chapel Hill. But may have played Chapel Hill closer than anybody else, maybe other than NAC. So I'm excited to see this game. It's a rivalry too. Van is Van and Brownsboro do not get along. They do not like each other. Fun fact.
I saw it during baseball season. I'll be the first to admit that.
Yeah. Fun facts about this series. Van has won. Coach Moffitt for the Vandals has won 13 games in a row against Brownsboro. He has not lost to Brownsboro. He's 13-0 as a Van coach. Brownsboro's last win over Van, the last time Brownsboro beat Van, was October 13th, 2006.
Oh,
that's the last time that Brownsboro has beaten Van.
Were you in high school still, Kyle?
I was a freshman. So that's the last time that Browns and honestly, when you look back at these past 10 games, they really haven't been close. It was a 20-point win for Van last year, 27 points the year before, 35 in 2020, 14 in 2019. 14's been the closest, other than 2015, where it was an 8-point game. That was the closest game that I could find in the last 10 years. So Brownsboro's 4-0, but they're not favored. Van's a 3-touchdown favorite in this game. So we'll have to see. It should be a good game, though. I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see what the atmosphere is like at another rivalry game this week.
Awesome.
Anybody like Van? I like playing Van. Nobody likes playing Van. I've noticed that. It's always that rivalry. It's like nobody likes playing Van, but they're tough. I give them that. They are tough.
They got lots of little rivals around. You got Canton, you got Lindale, you got Brownsboro. There's lots of those little.
If you notice, like there's always, like they're rival. Who likes Van? Nobody likes. They're a rival with everybody. That
people in Van, in Ben Wheeler, that area, they like Van.
That's what I'm thinking.
Longview, Lancaster for Derek. That's a good one.
It's gonna be a good one too.
I like that one. It's a big one for Lancaster. Honestly, that 0-1 starting district there. They're gonna have to do some. They're gonna have to do some upsets. I mean, that would be a huge one, obviously. But this game we thought might be for district, before the season started. So now Lancaster's just looking to get an even record in district play. Let's see. They played Van in the playoffs. That's Pleasant Grove. Again, I'll be in Bullard at Brook Hill. Vince and I'll be in the call on NetSN. So that game will start at 7:30. So you can watch it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, or on the NetSN app. Our other game we'll have on NetSN will be in Canton, as Center Rough Riders will be traveling to Canton to take on the Canton Eagles. Also another 7:30 start. I believe they'll do a pregame show starting at 7. So we'll have those two games on our network. So if you're like Corey and you like to sit at the house and watch a bunch of games, get your TVs and your laptops and tablets and have a couple of NetSN games on, as we'll have lots of good coverage this Friday night. Well, I'd like to thank everyone.
20 games up.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. For Kyle and Corey, this is Brett. We'll see you next week right here on the Weekly Wrap-Up Show. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy your footballs.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.